thanks for tuning in. So this is also like a sidebar type thing that I'm actually planning like a webinar and also like a sales conference as well, sometime next quarter of this particular year. And I wanted to just share some things that I've been reading and I've been sort of looking into on sales. So I think the first thing that I really wanted to share was about building a sales strategy and why you need a sales strategy. Because if you don't have a strategy on how to actually sell or how to actually communicate your services to your prospective clients, then it's going to be very difficult for you to actually earn a living from your craft or from what you do, right? Because you need those conversions in dollar signs or in naira signs hitting your account. And to do this, you have to develop a method of actually selling. So where I like to start from with the sales strategy is actually to have a target in mind by basically saying how much do I want to earn this year, and how much do I want to earn at the end of this year? How much should be my revenue or my turnover by the end of this financial or fiscal year? And when you've thought about that figure and when you see what your potential is to earn, then you can now break it into either 12 months and say, okay, fine, in January for me to earn this, I have to make this much. In February, this is how much I need to earn. In March, the same thing. Or you can actually break it down into projects and say, okay, maybe I want to make $100,000 this year, and from project A, I can earn maybe $50,000 in a year if I'm really focused. From project B, I can earn maybe $20,000 in a year if I'm really focused. And from project C, I can earn maybe $30,000 in a year if I'm really focused. And then you now break those figures into bite size, right? So from project A, which particular projects in project A can I actually execute to earn $50,000? So maybe from project A and project A1, I can make maybe $10,000 in the year. Maybe from project A2, I can make maybe $20,000 in a year. From project A3, just you break it down again, right? In the same way you've broken down your earnings. And then after that, you then go ahead and then say, okay, what do I need to do to make $10,000 from project A1? And then you go about and you write it down. Who do I need to talk to if I want to earn $10,000 in this particular year from project A1? And you go about and then look at resources and look at learning materials and look at books that actually are focused on selling in that particular industry or presenting facts that pertain to that particular industry. You basically want to gather as much facts as you can with regards to selling your goods, because a lot of people feel like sales is beneath them, or sales is not for people that have degrees, or sales is for non-skilled people. And what ends up happening is that we actually hoard our skills and we hoard our talents, and we don't put ourselves out there for people to actually know, oh wow, I didn't actually know someone could do this in Africa or in Nigeria or in this particular state. This is so exceptional. So well done. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. So there's a lot of people out there that are waiting for you to actually share your skills and share your talents with the world, but because you've hidden it away, and you put it under wraps, then no one can actually pay you for the value that you can provide, because people pay you for what you do with what you know, not with what you know. No one is ever going to come and pay you like $1 million for consulting on a project because you've read this many books, but people will pay you $500,000 for consulting on a project because you have actually gone ahead and shown that value and helped them make maybe $5 million or $50 million on that project. And then they've turned around and say, oh wow, thank you so much, Christian, this is like super helpful for us on this project. And then they would contribute to your account and help you grow financially, and that's what allows you grow. But you want to break this down into a sales strategy so that you can then understand, okay, mentally you've already started pushing your mindset to say $100,000 for this year, maybe $300,000 next year, maybe $1 million in year 3, and maybe $5 million in year 4, and so on and so forth, right? You really want to program your mind into believing and into sort of activating your subconsciousness to actually start pushing towards these figures. And if you're not pushing towards them, then what's going to end up happening is that you have no goal, you have no strategy, you have nothing to fall back on, you haven't built up your skill set towards actually attaining those goals, and then you're going to fall short at the end of the year, right? So you want to actually practically put it down in writing. It doesn't have to be an Excel sheet, because when you say sales strategy, people always want to put things down in writing on an Excel sheet, but it could just be a note. Like my sales strategy for 2020 was actually just on a note on notes on my computer, like a notepad on my computer. You should actually go ahead after doing that to actually building up your prospect list on each project and say, okay, for this prospect I have maybe project A, for instance, or project A1, let's say, I have sheet one, and then sheet one or sheet A1, I would have the name of the prospect, the contact details of the prospect, the actual organization's address, and so on and so forth. But I think the important thing to track with regards to reaching out to prospect is actually how many times have I contacted this person, and obviously you should put a note as well on that column on that sheet at the end. So how many times have I contacted this person? How many times has this person have I actually met with this person? Because there's nothing that beats that one-on-one human contact, right? No matter how much emails you send and how fancy your website is and how courteous and polite your phone calls are and what script you're following. So I think that, yeah, if you book the appointment, you speak to them, you build that rapport, you build that relationship, and that's what actually establishes you as a leader in your industry or someone that has something to offer that particular organization, other than just sending a proposal and not following up, or just picking up the phone and just discussing. I mean, there's just nothing that would beat that one-on-one human contact. So that's actually what you want to measure. You want to measure how many times you've met with this person this month or this quarter or this year, or however you measure your sales quota. And then the more you build that rapport, the further you establish that relationship. So yeah, it takes time to meet with each particular person, but as long as you're meeting an organization or a business, that's fine. But if you're selling to individuals, if it's B2C, then I think online marketing, which I think you could take some time out to just learn about, would be a much, much more effective and scalable method of marketing your services. But if it's businesses, you want to take that one-on-one time to meet with the particular person responsible for making decisions for that organization, and making sure that you're actually relaying the fact that you've actually got a lot to offer and you're offering it at a valuable rate than everybody else and every other competitor in your market space.